Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Amanda and today's video is sort of a collection of all the ideas I had for monthly themes in my bullet journal. Now usually I would obviously do only one theme each month and then make a dedicated video about it. But since I'm going traveling soon and leaving my bullet journal at home for the next 4 months, I thought I would just release a condensed version of all my bullet journaling videos for the next 4 months. Of course, this would take forever if I spread out each theme over a cover page and a monthly overview and trackers and weekly spreads, so I kind of condensed each one down to a double-page spread full of all the little illustrations and borders and boxes that you might need. It still took me forever, but at least this way you can easily see all the elements and take the bits you want to use from each theme. This first one I did here I'm really happy with. I went with a 50s diner vibe, and for this theme in particular, having the right font really makes a difference. And all I did was just type in 50s font into Google or Pinterest, and then I got a bunch of great options that I can trace into my journal. Another thing I do to find references for my themes is just going onto Pinterest and falling into a rabbit hole for that particular aesthetic. Then I'll save all the pictures that I like or have an element of what I'm looking for. It's sort of like creating a mood board that you can look back at and draw inspiration from. This is almost exclusively how all my bullet journal themes come to be. And anyway, I don't know if you can see, but I started sketching out all my ideas in pencil on the page before going in and outlining everything with a black fine liner. The neon signs were especially fun to make, and I basically just copied the ones I saw on Pinterest, but wrote my own headlines. These would be perfect for headers on trackers or something like that, and they just add a lot of interest to the page. For the color palette, I chose to go with a pink and blue combination using my Crayola Super Tip markers, and the light blue here is my Tombow brush pen. I would say about 4 different colors is a good amount for a color palette. For the second theme, I've had this idea of drawing fairy tales for a long time, and Alice in Wonderland is one of my favorite stories from my childhood. You could of course choose any fairy tale and draw inspiration from the illustrations in the books, a movie, or even other people's art online. So again, I went to Pinterest and found a bunch of illustrations and pictures to get inspiration from. I outlined all of my pencil sketches with my black fine liner, and all of the illustrations here on this page I think would be perfect as a little corner decoration or to use in combination with headers in your bullet journal spreads. On the opposite page, I did a bunch of doodles and smaller things that are really easy to draw but still scream Alice in Wonderland. That's one of the things I love about this story. It's so recognizable, and as soon as I see a playing card and a red rose, that's what I think of. There's definitely lots of options when it comes to inspiration for this theme. I really love the shelf with potions on it, and I think it could be really perfect for a border. You could also fill a page up with them and make a mood tracker or milestone tracker of sorts. I decided that for this spread, colored pencils would be more appropriate than markers. I grew up with the very whimsically illustrated book, and that was more the look I was going for than the one in the animated movie. Originally, I wanted to use watercolors, but the pages in this journal are just too thin for that. For the finishing touches, I brought out my beloved Fine Tech Pearl palette and added a rich gold color to some of the drawings. The third theme is a tropical one, and I know this has probably been done in some way already, but I really like how this turned out. So I started with the title, and I just looked up tropical font on Google, and most of what was there was a rough brush script, so that's what I chose. The main feature of this theme is of course the different leaves, and I decided to stick to a color palette of 2 different greens and then pink. After drawing the first set of leaves with a black fine liner, I decided to switch it out with a blue pilot pen and do all the line work with that. It made everything look a lot more stylized and cohesive in my opinion. I found these amazing beach signs too on Pinterest, and I think they're perfect for headers or for just decoration. And then I just switched out the text for something that you would find in a bullet journal. On page number 2, I drew a bunch of tropical leaves of different sorts. I outlined very loosely with the blue ballpoint pen and then colored in everything with my Crayola markers. It was super fast and you could easily doodle these all over a page to spice things up. At the bottom of the page, I wanted to give you some examples of different boxes that tie in with the theme. So I stuck to some very straight geometric shapes, but then decorated them with elements from the rest of the page. The fourth theme is one of my favorites, and honestly it's because it's so simple and easy to create. There are no weird or crazy fonts or color palettes required for this theme, but it still looks thought through and clean. All you need is a black fine liner and maybe a ruler and you're good to go. The fonts I'm using is just as simple as it gets, and often I'll write everything in caps because it looks better. As for the flowers, I just make up my own imaginary ones or look at some simple reference pictures. It doesn't have to be super detailed in my opinion, as long as you just draw enough flowers to make it look complicated. At the bottom I put a suggestion for a way to write the dates in your weekly spreads, and this is just the way I like to do it, super simple. I think that's why I like this theme as well. One thing is to have the time, a whole weekend, to create these elaborate and artsy spreads, but doing it every day is not sustainable for most people, including myself. I mean, a bullet journal is supposed to help you manage your time and make your life better, not stress you out even more. It's really easy to forget when all you see online are beautiful journals with gorgeous drawings all over. I often need to remind myself not to compare my journal or my art to others. On that note, I hope this video doesn't stress you out too much, but rather gives you some inspiration for ways to have fun and get creative with your bullet journal. The very last spread I have for you guys is kinda random, I know, but when I thought of all the possibilities, I got so excited. I wanted the vibe of a vintage circus, but a little more The Greatest Showman and not so much American Horror Story Season 4. I think it turned out pretty cool, although the header took forever. Wow, this was quite a journey. I rarely make videos this long, but if you like this type of condensed bullet journaling video, please let me know. Also, if you decide to replicate any of these spreads in your own journal, please tag me. It really makes my day seeing all of your lovely creations. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I actually have 2 accounts, one for more art-related content and one that's focused on travel and lifestyle. I used my red color pencil from Prismacolor for most of the details, and finally my gold watercolor palette from Finetech. I really love how this turned out in the end, but I think a less vibrant red color would have made it look even more vintage. I also created an Amazon store where you can find all of my favorite art supplies and the equipment that I use to make these videos. So go check that out if that's something you're interested in, and otherwise thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you have any questions or ideas you would like to share, please feel free to leave a comment down below, and otherwise I'll see you in my next video. Bye!